Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alex. I'm studying English and Psychology.
I'm Patricia, and I'm studying biochemistry.
And I'm Linda, and I'm studying at Wharton.
And I'm James, and I'm studying economics.
We're all first-year students here at the University of Pennsylvania, studying manuscripts in a class taught by Dr. Noel and Professor Stallybrass. In our class, we study manuscripts through close inspection of the text and frequent trips to locations such as the Free Library and the Penn Museum. Throughout the semester, we have been studying Penn's manuscript of the Wycliffite New Testament, MX Codex 201. This manuscript was created over 50 years before the printing press was invented, and it is entirely written by hand. I will now pass it on to James.
I am going to be speaking about John Wickliffe and the controversies that were stirred up because of his actions. John Wickliffe was a professor at Oxford and an early advocate for the translation of the Bible into the vernacular. His impact was first felt in the late 14th century, but continues even today. John Wickliffe and the church never really saw eye to eye. Wickliffe had problems with the church, which he made very clear. He also had considerable influence, which caused the church to react by attacking him. Wickliffe had three main problems with the status quo. First, he saw the limited access to the Bible as a problem, and he believed that it should be made available in the vernacular. Next, he believed that the Pope's power to excommunicate was invalid. And lastly, he believed that the church was accumulating too much wealth at the expense of the people. The church naturally saw Wycliffe's statements and influence as a threat to its power and answered with its own attacks. Censorship laws, which attempted to limit his influence, were enacted, and Wickliffe was opposed until his death, and especially after, when his followers translated the Bible into English. The Council of Constance on May 4th of 1415 officially labeled Wickliffe a heretic and ordered for Wycliffe's remains to be dug up, burned, and thrown into the River Swift. Now I would like to pass it on to Linda.
So I will be speaking about our transcriptions of the Bible. In our class, we have made all of our transcriptions in a website called TPen. The website highlights one line of the manuscript, in our case the Wycliffite Bible, and we transcribe letter by letter. And this is saved as we proceed, making it available for other users to revise and review. Here I show how we go about transcribing the text. So we'll start here. Here, with two E's, endeth, and the uses the thorn, which makes the TH sound. Prologue, and this is abbreviated, so otherwise it would be a PLOG, but this makes the PRO sound. And then here's a virgule, which is the equivalent of like a comma or a period, which you just make like a pause. And we continue. And this is the equivalent of an ampersand, so you say and in this case. Beginneth. So these two letters look very similar. This is the Y and this is the thorn. And this makes the regular Y sound, while this makes the TH sound. Sometimes it will be distinguished by like a dot here to make sure you make the E sound. So let's go again. Here endeth the prologue and beginneth the gospel with a long S of John. John is actually written with an I at the beginning because the J is non-existent in Middle English. And this is actually in red because it's a transition from the prefatory comments from St. Jerome and transitions into the Gospel of St. John. And here we have a long I to start off St. John with, and I'll continue reading. In the, with a thorn, beginning was, and this is another type of S, which actually looks like a capital B. So in the beginning was the, with a thorn, word, and this is a different type of R that is more for aesthetic purposes, which comes after round letters like O. So it looks like this. And we also have the modern R, which we used in here. So word, that, with a thorn, is, with the different S that looks like the capital V. God is, Son. So we have God is Son here. We have the capital B looking S and the long S. And in Middle English, there isn't such a thing as an apostrophe. So this would be, that is God's Son, or the Son of God. And we continue. And the, with a thorn, word was at God. And now I will hand it on to Alex to discuss the differences between the Wycliffite Bible and the King James Bible.
It is important to note the textual differences between our own pen Wycliffite manuscript and the King James Bible. Many scholars have said that the Wycliffite Bible is free of interpretation, but this is actually not the case in our own pen Wycliffite manuscript. As you can see, the Gospel of St. John in the King James Bible starts, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God." You might notice that this phrase is free of the words God's Son, which you can find in our own Wycliffite translation. Here, this is an example of a scribe or whoever wrote our own pen Wycliffite manuscript, adding his own interpretation into the text instead of off to the side, actually in to the actual biblical text as if it were already there.
I will now give a brief summary about the impact of the Wycliffite Bible. Although the Wycliffite Bible circulated widely in the later Middle Ages, it actually had very little influence on the 16th century English translations that began to be produced after the Reformation. The Wycliffite Bible was translated from the Latin Vulgate, itself a translation made by St. Jerome in the late 14th century. The new Protestant translations, however, were made from the original Greek and Hebrew. However, due to the abundance of surviving manuscripts, the Wycliffite Bible continued to circulate in the 16th century, and so despite the fact that it had been prohibited by the Catholic Church, it was used, paradoxically, for the first official Catholic translation of the Latin Vulgate into English, the Reims New Testament, which was printed in 1582. Since the Reims version was also consulted by the translators working for the 1611 King James Version, a number of readings from the Wycliffite Bible found their way into the most famous English translation at the time. In fact, the late 13th century Wycliffite Bible opened the door not only to the thousands of later editions of the Bible in English, but also to vernacular translations across the globe. Today, many historians call John Wycliffe the morning star of the Reformation. Wycliffe's legacy lives on today through the Wycliffite Bible, and much of our access to the Bible can be attributed to him.
Let us again read the beginning of the Gospel of St. John. "In the beginning was the Word, that is God's Son, and the Word was at God, and God was the Word." At the beginning of this course, we all had to read the Bible letter by letter so as to make hesitant and stumbling sense of it. Now we are beginning to read it fluently, just as you can with a little patience, since high-quality digital images of the whole Pen's Wycliffite Bible are freely available at this address. This video would really not be possible without the incredible resources at Penn, Dennis and Dot in the Kislak Center for Special Collections, and our incredible teachers.
If this video interests you, we encourage you to come and take advantage of the class. We all come from diverse backgrounds, but we all enjoyed it, and we know you will too.